Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and with me studio,
it's your girl Pinky.
Pinky's joining me.
Here we are
in studio, no less.
Yeah, look
I mean,
at this.
you know, it's a garage, but
It works.
But it's kind of a studio.
It works.
I got the chicken.
Yeah.
And I got an ashtray, and there's a picture from a Pulpit Fest past, kind of hiding back there, and my leg lamp.
I pulled up your last YouTube video to see like what your setup was.
Right.
Since it's been we haven't I've recorded one since you've been here, but we were out back.
Well, we were out back, exactly.
Yeah.
We were on
So
the
now that
patio.
you've got this set up, I hadn't been over here yet, so I
No.
pulled up on YouTube just to see what your setup was.
Right.
Looks good.
I mean, you know,
It's very comfortable.
it's very basic, but the accoutrement will come in time. You know, we'll make it better.
Yeah.
We'll get to, you know.
This is fine, and this is the least impressive it's going to be. Like it's only going to go up from here.
It only gets better.
Yeah.
It only gets better. Well, today we're going to be smoking a good cigar. I think it's a good cigar. We'll see what you think.
Okay.
So today we're going to be smoking the Perdomo 20th Anniversary Sungrown in the 6x56 Epicure size. It features a Nicaraguan sungrown wrapper, Cuban seed Nicaraguan binder, and Cuban seed Nicaraguan filler. And the description of this cigar says that the Perdomo 20th Anniversary Sungrown has gorgeous 8-year-old Cuban seed Nicaraguan sungrown wrappers that are bourbon barrel aged an additional 10 months to ensure the rich, earthy flavors pair perfectly with the higher priming Cuban seed Nicaraguan binder and filler blend that offers a balance of spice with subtle hints of oak and cedar on the finish. So that's what we got going on there.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well,
it smells great.
Let's get the cigar going, and it's time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2, guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family-owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide you great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. Don't know what else you could possibly want from a cigar website. Please go to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Let them know that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. There's a little comment box right there on the order form there when you're placing your order. Just put in the comments there that I sent you there. And remember, that's the number 2, guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar.
Cut that cigar.
Cut that cigar. Now, I realize that I was going to bring out another cutter and another lighter for you. And I realized that, I didn't do that. So
That's all right.
you're just going to have to borrow that one.
Oh, you did a straight cut?
I did a straight cut, but you can do a V cut. You
And
can
I
do
will.
whatever you want.
I'll do what I want,
You do what
sir.
you want. I do what I want. I will say.
I can already tell, like, this is a super solid stick.
Oh, it's
like,
good.
it's, yeah.
Could use my fancy
Yeah.
Eurostate table lighter.
You gave me one of those, too, the graffiti one.
Yeah, so it should have some juice in it, so you can light it up with that guy. I think you might be able to do it. But all right. Well, while we light this guy, I'm going to play the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino. Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so, they can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
And at 1:16, it's the longest commercial you're going to hear on this show. Anyway, so
It is the song that never ends.
so we got our cigars lit up here. Initial thought right off the foot, right off the beginning.
It's good. How would you describe this as like a medium? Or is it more bold?
It's medium plus-ish
Oh,
by the
okay.
time it's all said and done. But yeah, this is one that I'm normally kind of like, okay, this is something that Pinky will like. But
Today you're like,
I'm like,
we'll see if Pinky likes
today I'm
this.
like, I'm going to play a little game here. I'm going to play a game of, does Pinky like this?
So far, I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not too much.
Okay.
It's not too much.
Okay. So, let's talk Halloween. We're only 2 days out.
Do we have to?
Not a fan?
It's just not my thing.
Oh, well.
Which is weird because I love dressing up for like any other thing.
Yeah.
Not for Halloween.
Well.
Oh, no.
All right. Well.
Oh, no.
This will be a short fucking episode then, guys. So,
It's great seeing you, Nick. Hope
yeah,
you
I was gonna say,
enjoy the rest of your
enjoy
week.
the rest of your cigar. No, so like, the little Pinky, the
Baby Pink.
baby pink. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What? I don't remember what we called him before, but I'm pretty sure baby pink is definitely not it.
Oh, you mean my son?
Yes.
I thought you
What
meant,
did you think I meant?
I thought you meant younger Pinky. Like when I was little. I thought we were going to go back to when I was growing up.
I was gonna ask, like, does your son enjoy? Do
Oh,
you at
you
least
call him Baby
Do
Bear.
you at least Baby Bear? That's it. It's like, do you at least, enjoy, like? Does he like it? Do you get some like through pleasure?
No,
of, like,
not
watching?
anymore.
He doesn't dig
well,
it either?
he's at the age where for the last 2 years he goes out with his friends, so
Yeah.
it's not a family thing anymore.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Can't go trick or treating because he's at the age where they look at you weird.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they went last year.
Oh, okay.
He and a couple of his buddies. When he was growing up, I enjoyed, going to the store and figuring out stuff. But like, I don't know, middle school, like the end of grade school and middle school, he's got like some sensory. He doesn't like, his hands covered and things like that.
I get that.
But he loved like this big alien head that we got at Sam's Club one year. Like,
See, I never really
very huge.
I never really dug masks. And
Same,
I definitely
same.
don't like face paint. Like the paint on me. Ugh,
Yes.
I'm not a fan of that at all.
And then you're like ripping off the top 5 layers of your
Yeah.
skin just to get it
like
out.
yeah. So, but he liked this alien mask though.
He for like 3 years it's what he wore, and I was like, that's fine. I mean, if I don't have to spend money. And
I'm telling you, I told you before, and the best costume I ever had was I got a T-shirt with the word ceilings printed on the front of it, and I went as a ceiling fan.
I'm gonna steal that idea.
You
That is
should.
fantastic.
It's great.
We're
'cause
doing a
you're
pub
just-
crawl this weekend.
You could get it as a hoodie. You can get it as a regular sweatshirt. You can get it
Yeah.
as a T-shirt. However you want to do it, but
Yeah.
it's the easiest thing ever. And if
and
somebody
it's intriguing. That's
and
the
it's
thing.
one of those things. People walk up to you
They
like,
don't get it.
ceilings.
Ceiling.
You're like, yeah, go ceilings. I'm a ceiling fan. I love it. I love cheesy puns, and it just works. It works on so many levels. So many levels.
Okay, I'm feeling the heaviness now of the cigar.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna finish it for sure.
This is not the word. I was tempted, so tempted, briefly tempted, to have you smoke the world's strongest cigar today, and I was like,
I thought you liked me. Like,
Well-
I thought you wanted me to continue being friends with you.
I know, but entertainment value comes into play at some point too.
You value
I mean,
entertainment over my
Look,
friendship.
I don't have a co-host that I can dick with anymore. I have to find my entertainment where I can find it. It's like whatever. So I figured it would be funny,
But look at that. That
but I
is
didn't.
such a solid cigar.
Yeah, no, it's super, and the burn line is super straight.
So
The
straight.
draw on it's ridiculously good.
Yes.
So, and it's that
Yes.
nice bit of earthy spice,
Yeah.
It's a good cigar.
It's funny when I have a good cigar like this. It reminds me that the ones I usually smoke are not like the burn lines are terrible. They're all over the place, and some of that might be user error, but this is very good.
It's also
so pretty.
It's also like not very like windy throughout my garage right now.
Yes.
Which is kind of
That's
nice
true,
in that regard.
yes.
You don't have the wind, dicking with the burn
That's
line
where I've
and
been
everything.
smoking more is in our garage.
Yeah.
I'll pull the 2 cars out and.
At night, it's been very pleasant in here. I'll have the
I
garage
bet,
door about
yeah.
halfway cracked.
That's what I do, yeah.
About half down. This window behind me, unfortunately, it doesn't stay up. So I have like a board down here that I prop in there to like hold it in place. And but between that window and the garage door, I get a nice cross breeze through
And
here.
because of that, you probably don't. It's not seeping into your house any, right?
No, it's not. And there's a seal on that door, so I'm not super concerned. But like, and also I'm not sitting out here burning like 6 of them in a night.
Yeah.
I'm I'll have like 1 and I'll go back inside.
Where are you at now on your count?
I haven't updated the count
Since New Hampshire?
Since New Hampshire, I'm
Okay.
gonna have to update the count. It has been a little less here lately. Like it's like New Hampshire kind of broke me in a way. Like I was averaging about like a couple, and then I went to New Hampshire and things went nuts, and then I came back and I've been kind of like gimping my way along, since then.
Enough to still say
I'm in the game.
Yeah.
I'm in the game. I think I've had at least one day though where I didn't have any. So last Thursday, when I was working in the garage, no, wait, I don't know when. It was the Thursday I started working in the garage, cleaning it out. I didn't have any that day because I was just working in the garage and, doing stuff. And by the time I got home that night, I was working in the garage. I had dinner at my folks' house. I came home, and by the time I got home, I was so dead to the world.
Yeah.
It's
a commitment.
I think I went to bed by like 8:30.
Who are you?
I know, right? I know. It was crazy.
Be writing you an order for a CAT scan over here.
Super tired.
Check that brain. Wow.
Super tired. So,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But yeah. So no. So you don't do really anything for Halloween. Kiddo doesn't do anything. You don't really do anything for Halloween.
Nope.
Do you turn on the porch light and do
Nope.
the trick? You don't even do the trick or treaters.
Nope. We did. So here's the thing.
I don't even know if I get any here.
Definitely post-COVID, even the neighborhood trick-or-treating, we live in a neighborhood with a school. So pre-COVID, we had people would drive to our neighborhood to trick-or-treat. It was great. I mean, it was lively. It was busy. It was great. Post-COVID, there are so many more daytime family-friendly, like trunk-or-treating.
treats.
And I told you about that one. There's a senior living place in town that's doing a drive-through one.
Which is the best idea ever.
Yes.
I don't know why this isn't like one
The
that
thing.
everybody needs to rip this off. It's a trunk or treat where you drive through it.
You stay in the car.
You stay in the car. You just go car to car. And I assume what? You got your windows down and they just hand
They hand you
they
candy.
just hand you candy and
They're
you put
gonna
it in your bed.
have charactered costumes there that'll stand by your car and pose.
I love that idea.
That is perfect.
I love that idea.
So there's so many of those events that are much more family friendly than, hey, let's wait till it's pitch black out and unleash our kids in neighborhoods with tons of cars and traffic and
realistically, I can't think of a Halloween where it's been nice out. Every Halloween night, it's either stupid cold to where you're wearing a coat over your costume, or it's raining.
Raining. That's true. We've not
So
had
like,
a good
I
Halloween
don't think
in a
we've
while.
ever had. I can't remember even back when I was a kid.
So I grew up in North Dakota, and we it didn't matter what your costume was.
I talked about North Dakota in the hang on, I might be able to do this research. I talked about North Dakota in the last episode I did with Noah, and we talked about how you guys had some shitty candy choices out there.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. Yeah, you're
Noah's from Canada, right?
No, Noah's from
thinking?
Wisconsin. You're thinking of Luke.
Luke.
So like, yeah, no.
Sorry, Luke. Sorry, Noah.
So Noah, we went there's a website where it has state by state favorite candy.
Oh, really?
Favorite Halloween candy. In North Dakota, I remember it being really lame. Yeah, fucking hot tamales was number 1.
What?
Followed by candy corn. Followed in third place by Jolly Ranchers.
Wow.
Lamest fucking state in the union. I'm calling it right. Well, wait.
Those are terrible.
You know what? Utah barely escaped the lamest state in the union label because they had candy corn is number 1. Tootsie Pops is number 2. But they had M&M's as number 3. So they at least had a
That
real
salvages
candy
it
in
a
the top
bit.
3. But North Dakota
Hot tamales?
with hot tamales, candy corn, and Jolly Ranchers.
Ugh.
Gross.
That is
Gross.
that is not my experience with Halloween in North Dakota. I'll tell you though, what is my experience is it didn't matter what your costume was because you had to wear a parka.
Yeah,
so
'cause
we
it was
were
super
all
cold.
parka dressed up kids.
That's when you just start like basing your costume off the parka. Find something that you need
We
a
all
parka
get to
for.
be
We're all going to be the kids in South Park, you know?
right, exactly. I was talking to my coworker today. He's much younger than us, and I asked him, what was it? We were something we had wasn't working, and I said back in college we would have said that was low rent or ghetto, and then it reminded me of Cartman's like
Yeah.
in the ghetto, in the cold and gray Chicago morning, another baby child is born in the ghetto, in the ghetto.
Pinky just fucking sang Elvis in the ghetto in Cartman's voice on the pulpit. I guess this is the last episode, guys, because I don't know if I can top that. Oh my God, it was highly unexpected. I did not expect that at all.
You're welcome.
Okay, what is your favorite Halloween candy? On the spot.
Probably like the Twix, the little ones, the
Okay.
candy
Yeah,
size.
yeah,
I really
yeah.
Twix or Kit Kats.
Okay.
If my kid comes home with candy, like that's the tax he's got to pay. Like,
Okay.
you just
No-
give me all those.
Well, see, that's the beauty is my kid only likes suckers. So basically,
you
I
get all the real
I give him
candy?
the suckers and I get everything else.
Wow.
So it's pretty perfect. But
That is like peak parenting right there
it's
to get your
super. I don't know how it happened, but it's super great. Yeah, we went over all of our candies in the last episode. I like Kit Kat was on my list. Twix was on Noah's list. My hot take was I didn't really care for Butterfingers.
Oh, really?
That is one of my
Well,
least
I guess
favorite.
they're flavorful, but they have that weird consistency. It gets caught in your teeth, and
not
it's
not a fan of Butterfinger.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well,
Yeah, so Halloween is, I mean, that's the one holiday of the year I could be like, if we,
do without.
had to do without, that's my pick right there.
Well, okay.
And I also, plus I just really want to get past Halloween so I can put up my Christmas decorations.
You're a Christmas person. I know that. I know that.
On Instagram, people every day send me reels in my DMs that are like, this is you. And it's, someone's like, I can't wait to close the door on the trick-or-treater so I can put my tree up.
Yeah,
it's me.
You're 100% Will Ferrell and Elf.
That's
you're
me.
Just like,
Yep.
Christmas.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Well,
Can't wait.
Okay. Well, knowing that I already talked about Halloween and I really didn't have anything else to talk about, I did a little research. I've been enjoying this finding weird news thing.
Yeah.
So, like, 2 episodes back, I found a story about a body that fell out of a hearse in Poland, and everything. Last episode, I found an
bodies in a parking lot or something? Corpses in a parking lot?
Yeah, corpses in the street. And then, what was the news article from when I had Noah on? I can't remember. It was equally very strange. But I got one for you now.
Okay.
And then I'm doing this because I'm hoping this prompts some discussion because some of these.
Well, first of all, put a pin in this before we start.
Oh boy.
Did you hear locally there was a funeral director? He actually was a classmate of my friend Katie, who's a funeral director, and he had his license taken away, professional license, within the last year because they found that he wasn't tracking the cremations properly, and so there's a very, very high chance that the ashes you got were not those of your loved ones.
Oh,
and
no.
separately, there were
Is this up in like Carlinville area?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that it's pretty fucked
and
up.
separately, there were human remains found in the buried in the backyard of the funeral home.
I heard that it was really
Isn't
bad.
that
up there.
crazy?
Yeah, that's super bad.
The sad thing is, my friend who went to funeral school, what's it called?
Mortician. It's the Mortician Academy. I don't know.
Funeral director school. She said pretty much we all knew like he wasn't right. Like there was like that shouldn't surprise anybody. Is basically what she said.
My God, when morticians can pick you
Correct.
out as not right, you
Right.
are really not right.
So yeah.
Not that I'm picking on morticians, but like, how do I put this and not sound shitty? I know some very nice ones, so I don't want to
Right,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to be offensive. But on the flip side, like I feel it takes a special person to
For sure.
to choose that career, you know, and you know,
It's such an interesting contrast because I think to be a good funeral director, like you've got to have a lot of technical skills. Like part of your training is like my friend had a test on shaping noses. Like you had to create a nose with like clay and stuff because sometimes you have to do that.
yeah.
So you've got to have a lot of technical expertise and be technically, mechanically very good. But on the same side, you have to generally have a lot of empathy and be very patient with people because you're interacting with them when they're at their lowest.
That's true. You know, when you think about it, it's
And
like
usually-
they have to be like almost like a Hollywood makeup artist.
Yeah.
They have to know anatomy and everything
Yes.
that goes, and so there's that medical aspect
There's the science
of it all.
and medical.
There's the actual mortician side of it all. You know, dealing with the embalming and the processing and all
And
that.
then there's the funeral director side
And
where
then
you're
there-
like meeting with families that are devastated and
And to some degree, there's even a sales aspect
Correct,
to it.
yes,
You know, where you gotta be
right.
like, do you really want to put your loved one in the box, or do you want to go with the rich mahogany?
correct.
You know, that kind of thing.
So and think about it, not to
know?
say that all of those skills can't be found in the same brain. It's just
Well, it
unusual.
obviously can because there's plenty of
Right.
morticians out there, but
Right. But to be well rounded in that,
Yeah.
it takes a really special person.
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
All right, so let's hear your crazy news story.
so German police have busted a pizzeria in the western city of Dusseldorf that also delivered a side order of cocaine when customers asked for item number 40 on the menu. Apparently, it was one of their best-selling items. Criminal director Michael Graf von Moltke told reporters that police were first tipped off by a suspicious food inspector in March. When drug squad officers began observing the restaurant, they soon noticed why pizza number 40 was so popular. German news agency DPA reported that police buzzed the apartment of the pizza manager, the 36-year-old, that when they did that, the 36-year-old allegedly threw a bag of drugs out of the window, which, quote, fell right into the arms of the police officers. The
Wow.
bounty included 1.6 kilograms, or 3.5 pounds, of cocaine, 400 grams, or 14.1 ounces of cannabis, and 268,000 euros, or the equivalent of $290 or $290,378 in cash. So almost $300,000 in cash. Police said that the restaurant manager, who was released from detention after a few days, soon reopened his business and started selling pizza number 40 with the cocaine side order again, and that gave them an opportunity to look into the supply chain. And after several weeks, some 140 officers busted an entire drug ring in western Germany, arresting 3 suspects, including the 22-year-old head of the drug operation, and raided homes and businesses of another 12 suspects. During the raids, they came across 2 cannabis plantations in 2 nearby towns with 360 plants total. And they also found cutting and stabbing weapons, as well as cash and extensive watches. The pizzeria manager was arrested when he tried to flee abroad and remains in custody. None of the suspects' names were released in line with German privacy rules, and police did not say how much the pizzeria charged for special order pizza number 40.
Wow.
So
if you're in the know, you would order the pizza
if you were in the
and
know,
also
you would
order
go-
number 40.
You would go to this pizza place and you'd be like, I want pizza number 40.
And it's cocaine?
You would get a pizza with a side order of a bag of cocaine.
Wow.
So
The most interesting part of that whole story is that when you're arrested, they don't release your name. They
Right?
just said there's privacy laws in Germany that Interesting.
Well, I'll tell you, there's been a big push for that here in the States, actually. The problem is it kind of conflicts to some degree with freedom of the press and,
Right.
and all that. Now, it's an interesting situation because, you know, like I get press releases from the cops when they arrest somebody with mugshots and things of that nature. Now, they've started adding a little thing at the end about, you know, all suspects are presumed innocent instead of,
Till
you know,
proven
blah, blah,
guilty.
blah. But you can make an argument that, let's say they arrest somebody, they put out this press release, I run this press release, somebody sees this in the newspaper or online or whatever, and then suddenly that person is fired. We have negatively impacted their life. And then let's say they're cleared of the charges.
Right.
Now you've got a negative impact on somebody's life, and, well, you can't really put the genie back in the
Correct.
bottle.
Right.
But on the flip side, how do you know what I mean? It's it's a very interesting situation.
Right.
So, yep.
That is interesting. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, so they arrested him the first time and then held him for a couple days and then let him go, the pizza manager guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know why.
They must not have had enough.
They must not, either that
or they let him go knowing that this has got to be part of a larger thing. So if we let him go and he goes back to his old ways.
To the,
and sure enough, it worked.
And that's exactly what happened. But,
wow.
yeah, no. They got a lot. So
that's crazy.
Right? Who knew?
Who knew?
You get German cocaine pizza.
Wow.
Can you imagine a bunch of Germans on cocaine?
I can't imagine a bunch of just people on cocaine.
They're already doing their like now is the time on pulpit in which we dance, that kind of thing. But then all of a sudden you get them on cocaine, then they're like doing the arm waving shit and everything. I mean, it's like they're going to be all hyper.
This is an SNL skit waiting to happen.
They're going to start taking over Poland. Finding dead bodies in the fucking street. I mean, it's
all connected.
It is all connected. I'm telling you, all this shit's connected. It's weird.
Speaking of, I have not watched SNL, but I've seen some clips of it recently. I guess they are really hitting all the politicians, and they've got some characters who are doing spot. Have you seen any of this? They're like spot on, and they're actually like being more like. They're not discriminating against who they're making fun of.
That's
like,
good because the whole thing's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
So I mean, no, but I haven't watched SNL in quite a while.
Same.
I haven't really had a need. Although I do kind of want to see the Saturday Night Live movie. So Jason Reitman put out a movie, and it's all about the very beginning, like the first episode of SNL. So you have guys
ever.
Yeah, so you have guys playing like Dan Aykroyd and Belushi and like Andy Kaufman and all this like way back when. And so it's all about the launch of SNL. And I'm like, that looks kind of fun. And I want to see that. So I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It might be something simple like It's Saturday Night, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. But it looked pretty good. So
noted.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, now that we've done that, I guess we can go ahead and well, before we get into that, what are we thinking about the cigar? I'm enjoying it. I mean,
Same.
I always enjoy it.
It's definitely more bold than it was the first couple puffs, but it's good. It's good.
You've eaten today, right?
Yeah, I had a tuna fish sandwich for lunch. That's all I've had today.
Okay. Well, we'll see. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report. Brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. So, what have you been watching?
I have been watching. I'm not going to say enjoying because that sounds very morbid, but
Oh, God.
one documentary and then one miniseries on the Menendez Brothers.
Everybody's all about them right now.
Well, because there's these new things that have been released. So
but is this like an anniversary of this or something like that I'm not aware of? Or like, why are we all about the Menendez brothers all of a sudden?
So I don't know like what came first, but there's been like a habeas corpus, whatever they call it, submitted to basically try to get their sentences finished. Like, I don't know what the legal term is, but like...
Really?
Yeah. Yep. So I didn't realize at the time, I was very young when this all happened and came out. And so I had heard about it and I knew like they'd killed their parents, but I didn't understand any of the backstory and all this stuff. So they claimed that they were severely abused by their dad, sexually, emotionally.
Did they claim that then?
Yes.
Or is this
yes.
a
No,
recent...
no, no.
Okay,
no.
okay.
Back when
okay.
they went to trial.
Yeah.
That was their claim. That and they had 2 trials, which I didn't remember that.
I don't know either.
So they
Okay.
had 2 trials. During the first trial, they both testified in detail about claims how their dad had treated them.
Where on the doll?
Huh?
Where on the doll?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were 0 character witnesses brought forth by the prosecution to... Nobody, they couldn't find anybody that would be a positive character reference for the dad.
Wow.
Not one. Nobody stood up there and said, they're lying, he's a stand-up guy, blah, blah, blah.
I would hope I'd at least have 1 or 2.
Right? You would think.
Yeah.
So he didn't have any. The boys claim that the mom knew that they were being abused and basically loved her lavish lifestyle and almost didn't care. Several family members, like cousins and stuff, testified that, when they were younger, the boys would ask them, like, hey, like, my dad comes in my room at night. Does your dad come in your room at night? So they, the family members testified that they remember being asked that and telling the boys, like, that they knew that something was off. So the first trial, this is all spoiler alert. So it happened in real life, so I guess it's not a spoiler alert.
At this point, it's, yeah.
So the first trial ended in a hung jury because every single male in the jury box voted guilty they had to pick one charge. They were offered several things they could charge him with. One of them was murder, which means there had to be some premeditation. They knew what they were doing. That was their intent. And then one of them was manslaughter, or like what they call imperfect murder, where like a reasonable person would have done the same thing you did. So they said that they bought the shotguns in self-defense. Like they bought it because their dad had become increasingly violent towards them and saying like even the one kid had got accepted to, I think, Stanford or something. And the dad's like, oh, you're not going there. And he like wouldn't let him go because he still wanted to abuse him. So it just seemed like the dad had a very tight grip on that. So all of the females on the jury wanted manslaughter because they believed the boys' claims that they had been abused and that they acted the way they did because like the younger boy finally told the older boy that he was being abused by the dad, and the older boy didn't know. He thought only he was being abused. And so the younger boy telling his older brother, I'm being abused, the older brother confronted the dad and was like, I didn't know you were doing this.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And the dad was like, if you ever tell anybody, I'll kill you. And they went upstairs and they felt very threatened. They went upstairs, got their shotguns, and killed their parents. So the first trial ended in a hung jury. And then they got tried again and were found guilty of murder and sent to prison.
Wow.
So they've both been in prison like 30 years now.
Huh.
So the thought at the time was that back then it wasn't widely talked about or believed that older men abused younger boys.
But now it's pretty well known.
Now it's known, unfortunately, that happens. And so they think that if they were to get tried now, they'd be like, okay, you've done your 30 years. We believe that that's why you did that.
Let's call it a day.
Let's call it a day. So,
Huh.
but like the day after they got murdered, so the whole first trial wasn't about did they kill him or not. It was widely agreed. Nope. I shot my parents right in the face.
Yeah.
I blew their brains out. They said that. I did it.
Yeah.
But then the next day, so it was several days before they admitted to it and they went on a spending spree, spent like $700,000 in like a couple days. They bought cars
which doesn't jive with the whole like I was doing it in essentially self-defense. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So.
Huh.
Interest. So that's why I've been spending my day.
Well, for a girl who's not into Halloween, you're into some dark shit. I'll say that much.
Listen, it's either murder or menopause. That's what's on my mind.
Oh, dear
these days.
God.
these days.
Oh, dear God.
I mean, I can talk about that. I watched a 1-hour documentary on menopause if we want to.
Oh, my God.
I'm guessing people probably don't want to hear about that, but I'm happy to share. So that's what I've been. That's my Villiger report.
Okay.
Haven't seen any movies recently. Haven't really. Oh, we listened to a couple. Well, because of sports, we've been traveling. So
Sports ball.
We've listened to a couple podcasts, and they're all very like murder. You know, one of them is called Snapped, and it's about women who murder. So this is now, unbeknownst to you, this is a murder podcast.
This has turned into a very like pro-female. Well, no, I
don't know. The mom died.
It's true. The mom did die. Okay. Well.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what have you been watching, Nick?
You know, I same shit, different day. You know, I'm almost done with Home Improvement.
Oh, I love that show.
You know, I started watching it. I think Instagram or Facebook, one or the other, started showing me like little clips of it, just randomly. And I'm like, I haven't watched this in forever, so I just started watching it, and it's been kind of my like on in the background, like zone out kind of show.
Yeah.
But I'm down to like the last 2 episodes, and it's like, oh. And I don't know if I ever actually watched the finale of that show. It's like a 3-part finale.
Oh,
and like
really?
Al's getting married, and like Tim's quitting Tool Time, and you know, Jill's getting her job as a psychologist in Indiana, so they're talking about moving from Detroit to Indiana and all
That
this
show
kind of
took
shit and
place in
everything.
Detroit?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
It did. So yeah, it's kind of weird. And the middle boy, he's been gone for a while because, you know, Jonathan Taylor Thomas,
JTT.
he got popular, so he went on to do movies and shit while
Yeah.
left the other 2 behind. And did you know that the oldest boy played Thor in a movie, but it came out like, I don't know, 9 or 10 months before the first Chris Hemsworth Thor movie, so nobody fucking knows about it?
No, I did not.
Apparently so.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting.
He's into some shit, though. Like, he got in some legal shit.
Really?
Yeah. Brad did not age well.
That's another thing that I've fallen down to an extent, that rabbit hole, is this whole P. Diddy thing. Bonkers.
I don't know shit about that other than the fact that P. Diddy apparently had some fairly wild parties.
Yes.
And apparently there's a lot of famous people that were there. And it's a matter of when are we going to find out all the famous people that were there.
Right.
But then there was that guy from, is it One Direction?
Right, Liam Payne.
Yeah, that fell like the 3 stories out of the hotel balcony and died. But like not long prior, he was on the Graham Norton show and was talking about P. Diddy.
Yep.
And like started name dropping like Leo and a couple of other people.
Yep.
And like somebody like, what are you doing? And like
Right.
he stopped. And then like, bam.
There are several Kevin Hart interviews where people are trying to bring stuff up, or he's trying to make a light of it, and then they like catch each other's eye and realize, oh, we can't talk about this. It's dark. That whole thing is dark, and there's a lot. You know, I don't know what I have no belief in it, whatever happened or not with this, but in terms of Jay-Z and Beyonce, like they're very connected somehow to this.
Aren't they supposed to be Illuminati?
Yes, I mean that's what
people
I've say.
Yeah, Illuminati. Yeah.
But there's a lot of, I guess they're conspiracy theories around like when Beyonce and Jay-Z were starting to like hang out and get together. There was another gal, Blue Cantrell. Do you remember that name?
No.
She was like kind of with Jay-Z at that time, but then like Beyonce was chosen for it. But I guess he really liked Blue Cantrell, and she died. And there's another gal, Aaliyah. Do you remember her?
I do.
Okay, so she also died.
Yeah.
And she died after she won a Grammy and like didn't thank or didn't recognize Beyonce for it. So now there's all this stuff on the internet that's like all these people accepting their Grammys, like you better thank Beyonce.
And I did see something where they said that Kanye West actually saved Taylor Swift when he got up and interrupted her at the VMAs and everything like that. Because,
right. That's all part of, you know, that basically there's this theory that Jay-Z and Beyonce and Diddy like own the entire music industry.
Yeah.
And so the fact that this gal Blue Cantrell died years ago, but until Jay-Z and Beyonce Beyonce's daughter Blue Ivy was born. If you Googled Jay-Z and Blue Cantrell or Blue, all this stuff came up.
But then Blue Ivy.
Blue Ivy. So if you name, I've heard this too with something with regards to Taylor Swift. Like,
yeah,
if my name is associated with something negative, well, let's create something then. So when you Google it, like the old stuff never shows up now.
Taylor Swift. The thing with Taylor Swift was that she was getting criticized for the amount of air travel.
Okay.
And the carbon emissions and all that crap and everything. Well, then when she started dating the Kelsey, the Kelsey's brother played for the New York Jets. So if you Googled Taylor Swift.
No, he plays for the Eagles. He played for the Eagles.
Oh, no, you're right. What was it with the Jets?
But there was
then?
something with
there was something with
yes.
the Jets. You're right. He does play with the Eagles.
Correct. So now when you Google it, that old story with all of the data
on... Oh, she didn't show up to the Jets game. Or maybe she did show up to the Jets game.
Maybe that was the first one.
Maybe that was the first one where she showed
saw
up.
Him play.
She showed up to the Jets game or something like that.
Yes.
And that's when you Googled Taylor Swift and Jets, that's when you ended up getting football coverage instead of the planes.
Correct.
Yeah,
so that's, there's this theory out there that's why Jay-Z and Beyonce named their child Blue Ivy, so that now if you Google Jay-Z and Blue, everything with the family comes up instead of this gal who's now deceased. So it's crazy.
Interesting.
It's crazy. And that they found like all these thousands and thousands of bottles of baby oil.
Oh yeah, Johnson & Johnson's going to take a major stock hit.
Now that he's incarcerated.
This last quarter of the year is going to be like abysmal versus the rest of the time. I mean, they're going to be like, fuck.
It's like, okay, so they find all of this, and now they're questioning, people are like, oh, well, maybe there was drugs in the baby oil. So you go to this Diddy party. There was the outdoor party where, like, if you're a certain level of celebrity, you could stay outdoors. But if you're a certain type of celebrity, like the A-listers, you could eventually make your way indoors. Once you're indoors, there's like all these unwritten rules, and that's where kind of all the craziness happened. But he had cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was like, Nick, you'd go act a fool, maybe even not. I mean, you might have been drugged. So you're doing things that, normal Nick would not have done. But now he's got you on camera. So now nobody's because it's like if all of these people knew and, all of these actual clips are coming up of people like, well, those Diddy parties, they're crazy. But nobody's saying anything. And, where it gets really disappointing and crazy is like there's a lot of allegations of like sex trafficking, human trafficking, young people, Justin Bieber, Usher when he was 14, all at these parties. And it's like, well, if there were reasonable adults there, like somebody should have said something. Oh, except that they were probably drugged. And now he's got, I've got so-and-so doing all kinds of stuff. So you can't say anything about the inappropriateness because I'll release this video of you. But it's so hard with like, all of this misinformation and like the Russians infiltrating and putting all like it's so hard to tell.
Let me ask.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is all just a giant distraction to keep the sheeple under control so that they're not asking questions about other things?
I don't know.
Because I do think that sometimes. When you actually take a look at the world and see what's going on, you got war in the Middle East. Not hearing much about that anymore, are we?
Right.
Right. It's like, what's going on in Ukraine lately? Haven't heard much about that lately.
Right.
There's all kinds of different problems all over the place.
Like if it gets too big or too serious, then they're like, oh, we need
a Hollywood
this.
scandal.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
right.
I just kind of feel like, sometimes I feel like this shit's orchestrated to where, oh, we need to calm the people down. Let's throw them a bit of red meat. Let's talk about the Diddy parties or whatever. Because I don't think we're mentally prepared to handle big shit sometimes as a society.
I agree with that statement. Yes.
Like for a while they were really trickling out the UFO alien shit and everything, and I feel like that was a distraction from things. There's always these distractions,
right?
Versus just it is what it is, I don't know.
Well, and
of course here we are coming up to a big election, which not to get into all that because I don't really want to get into all that, but the point is it's a big election, and let's keep it bumper sticker slogans and, my feelings and this kind of thing, instead of actually drilling down into issues and who has positions on topics and who have flip-flopped all over the place and whatever else.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, let's talk about ditty parties. You know what I mean? So,
the timing seems...
You gotta wonder.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder.
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense if that's a tactic that's deployed sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're becoming too knowledgeable, we're becoming too smart, too invested. Let's drop some Hollywood drama. Let's
and
pull the pin and drop that grenade.
And you and I have talked about TikTok before. I don't know about on air, but definitely off air, about how now I'm not entirely clear because correct me if I'm wrong. Is TikTok, are they supposed to be having somebody in the United States run that now? Wasn't that...
I can't speak intelligently to what the
can't
current
either.
Situation is, but I do recall at one point it was
It
this
was
ultimatum.
moving through
Either
the House and
the Chinese company needed to give up ownership, because as a Chinese company, that then gave the Chinese government access to that data. So it was you can still keep TikTok, but it has to be sold to a non-Chinese company.
Yeah.
I don't know what the status of that.
I don't either.
I don't know if that actually became
so
a requirement.
Going back to my point, though, part of the criticism was that over in China, TikTok would promote videos where kids are doing spectacular in school and doing service projects that help their community and things of that nature. And then here in the United States, it's stupid dance routines and pranks on your parents and that kind of crap like that.
Right.
And so it's dumbing us down. The algorithm is dumbing us down, whereas over in China, it's propping up the youth and the next generation. And so you almost, once again, there's another example. It's is TikTok and
is it a government op?
Hey,
right.
I don't want to sound like this is not a Tramac episode, so I don't have my tin foil hat ready. But on the flip side, you got to ask yourself sometimes.
My favorite,
there's
a reel or something out there. I don't have TikTok. I've never had it, so I don't. But things I see come up on reels, and there's a comedian that's so you. He's asking hypothetical or theoretical questions to the audience. So you don't believe in any conspiracy theories?
Ron Fuchs.
You think the government's batting 1,000?
Classic bit. It's Ron Fuchs. I love it. But you can go ahead.
But just questioning so you don't think any of these theories are possibilities? You think the government's batting 1,000 over here?
Yeah. Telling you the whole truth
every time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're and he's basically they're in charge of all of us. And as a father, I'm in charge of one person, my son. I'm in charge of one kid. And I lie to him every day.
I haven't seen the rest of that.
Oh, have you not seen that?
I've only seen the part where he's questioning, you don't believe in any theories? That just doesn't seem reasonable.
Let's just do a little search in here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think I have it saved because I liked it so much. But the question is, how far back
can
is
you
it
find
in my
it?
saved stuff? Yeah, exactly. Can I find it? I don't know. I'm sure all the people listening are just oh my God, now he's checking his fucking Instagram. But it's
So this leads me to sort of related regarding AI. So a friend of mine that I know from business stuff was telling me, so he's in an executive, I'm going to call it a mastermind group. I don't know what he calls it. He's a very high level business executive, and the people he's with, they're trying to, achieve the next level, develop themselves to keep climbing that corporate ladder.
Yeah.
And he's already pretty high. Anyway, so he was talking about this group that he's in, and they're talking about developing their leadership, and part of that requires some level of vulnerability.
Okay.
So in this group, they had to ask AI, each person in the group had to ask AI these 3 very specific questions. And one of them was be brutally honest with me, knowing what you know about me, what are my pain points, or what am I? And so AI, my friend uses AI like ChatGPT once a week. Like
Yeah.
he says he doesn't use it very often. Like he's my age, so he's, it's just not the first thing we go to when we want to solve a problem is AI.
Yeah.
But so he did this as part of the group, and then he sent me the questions that he asked and the answers. And I know him really well, and it was freaky how accurate this was with like kind of finding his pain points, weak points, the things that are like, it was spot on. Like if I had answered those questions about him and I've known him for 10 years, that's how I would have answered it.
Really?
Oh man. I like kind of got like a knot in the pit of my stomach reading this, like, oh, this AI told him that, he tends to get bored easily and, he's not interested in the results, more the chase. I mean, just.
Oh my. I'll tell you, I was watching a thing with James Cameron just earlier today, and they were asking him about AI because, he directed Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, they're like, are you concerned about the idea of AI being weaponized and blah, blah, blah? And he's just like, I tried to warn you in 1984. It's like, it's kind of funny, So.
Well, Elon Musk is on the record as saying, AI is like the most, I don't know his exact words, detrimental to our humanity.
Yeah.
Like, buckle up.
No?
And we see it, like we've seen side by sides of like what a person actually said and then like a video that's out there now of what's being purported that they said, and they never said that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how we move forward, which is all part of like how you take down like a country these days is you have to get them to not trust their data. That's like the number one, national defense you have is you've got to be able to trust your data. And if you can get people worked up or worried about, so-and-so said this, but they didn't actually say that.
Yeah.
You combine that with the ridiculous amount of information we absorb in a day. I mean, it's just, there's no truth.
No, and we are getting entirely too much data on a regular basis. I mean, I've talked about social media before and how like essentially, our brains, we're very tribal. Human beings are tribal. We have our communities and we stick to our communities and that sort of thing. And our brains are wired in such a way that like we can process the opinions and the thoughts expressed to us from a number of people, but when you put it out on social media and when something goes viral and suddenly you have millions of people giving you their opinions about whatever, that like it drives you nuts. Like your brain cannot comprehend that much data at one point, and so like it's too much for you to process. I'm looking. I have found the guy's page, and and I know what he's wearing in the bit. Like he's wearing this like blue.
That's not creepy.
No, he's wearing. I've seen this so many times. He's wearing this like blue jacket, and I just keep finding the wrong section. Here we go. All right, let me see if I can get F. All right.
Not believe in any conspiracy theories. I understand not all of them, not most of them, but you don't believe in any conspiracy theories? You just think the government's just batting 1,000 and telling us the whole truth? That's a strong stance to take. And again, as I said before, I don't like talking about politics on stage or off stage. I don't like talking about things I don't feel like I'm truly knowledgeable in. But I do know this. Our government is placed in charge of all of its people. I'm a father who's been placed in charge of just one son. And I lie to that all the time.
I don't think I've heard that part of it.
I love that part.
Oh, man.
Yeah, when he's like, I'm just in charge of one son, and I lie to him all the time. It's like, see, that's exactly it right there.
Yeah.
It's like with my son. It's like when my son's like, telling me he wants to get Qdoba for lunch or something like that. And it's like, I'm like, okay, we're going to go in just a minute. 2 hours later, he's asking me to go to lunch. It's like, dude, it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
We're not going to go to freaking Qdoba right now. But yet, it's like, you tell him, just a minute, just a piece,
Yeah.
It's like, it's a little lie,
Yeah.
But, oh, yeah.
The only lie I remember, I mean, I'm sure there were many I told our son, is if I didn't want to go somewhere, I'd be like, it's shut down. Sorry, it's not there anymore.
It's closed. Oh, and what happens then when you eventually go there again?
They opened. He didn't understand the concept of a
Oh
business
my
closing.
gosh.
Like, honey, we can't go. It's shut down. Sorry.
It's
Oh,
closed.
look, Sky Zone is open. Yay! Look at that, honey. They must have got their workers back. This is
Wow.
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Harmless stuff like that.
Okay. That's good. That's real good. So, all right. Well, now let's do this. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars can't clip our wings. Okay, so today we are going to hear about an endurance runner, considered to be the best endurance runner on earth. And I'm going to butcher this last name. Dean Karnazes? I don't know. It's Karnazes. Carnase?
Sure.
Carnase, whatever. He was covering ridiculous distances from time he was in grade school, and as he grew, so did his accomplishments. And on October 18th, 2005, the California native completed one of the most awe-inspiring runs of all time when he pulled off a non-stop 350-mile run around the San Francisco Bay Area. Beginning his trek on a Wednesday afternoon, he pushed himself for over 80 hours of relentless pavement pounding until he finally finished his journey on Saturday night. The runner's abilities are so exceptional, he was recently featured on Stan Lee's History Channel series Superhumans, where phenomenal gifts were attributed to his phenomenal gifts were attributed to an uncommon lack of lactic acid buildup in his system while running. That should come in handy when he attempts his next goal of running 500 miles.
Wow.
500 miles.
But why?
I mean, but you can be like Dean Karnazes and Blackbird Cigars, and don't let anyone clip your wings.
Wow.
But, I mean, I'm with you. Like, why? Like, I don't want to run.
That sounds very like David Goggins. You know that guy?
I've heard the name.
He's like a former Navy SEAL, and he's just, I think his motto
is he like an inspirational?
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of dude?
yeah. He was terribly abused growing up by his dad and didn't have a lot of confidence. And then
He didn't fucking shoot him in the face with a shotgun.
No, he did not. He sure did not. No.
Just saying, not everybody takes that option.
True, and that's actually one of the things that the prosecutor said is like, listen, if this is your story, I'm sorry that happened to you, but this happens to people and they don't go on to shoot their parents in the face. So
you could have called the cops.
Yeah. But David Goggins, he's like a former Navy SEAL, like ridiculously in shape, and just like I thought this is going to sound terrible, but his motto is like stay hard. It's like just go for it. Just go for it. He runs crazy.
I have to remember flag the tape. Add that to the
let's not.
Pinky lexicon. You know what's funny is I was talking about the Pinky lexicon not too terribly long ago, and it's
let's just preface this, right? So these are things I have said in podcast over the years that, taken out of context, sound terrible.
I mean, they do,
but they made a lot of sense. In context.
In context, they did. But, I'm just saying, it's one of those things. I could add you saying that to, such classics as this.
Anyone over 18 is eligible to ride.
See? We got that going on. We got,
I'll try anything once.
Yeah. I mean, let's replay that.
I'll try anything once.
Okay, just for the record, we got.
Well, hang out with me. I'll teach you all kinds of things.
See, so I mean, we can add that one to that. Oh, there's the one I got. The one about I don't know where that is though. Oh, this might take a little bit more digging for me to find. Now that I think about it, there's one more that I have that I'm not entirely sure. Oh, where is it? Where is it?
I'm scared.
Is it on my desktop? It might be on my desktop. No, it is not on my desktop. Where the hell did that go? Oh, you know what? It might be on my drive, my one external drive. In which case, you're lucky. I can't bring it up. But it's something about the P and the V, and yeah.
Which really wasn't anything to do with what you think.
But I
is.
don't remotely know what it is now that I've clipped it. It's out of my brain as to what we were even talking about at the time, and I just have that little clip, and that's all I remember. That's all I need to know.
It for sure was something to do with the VFW, but I don't know what the P and the V. It must have been. I must have stumbled over my words or something.
Mm-hmm. All I know is I immediately was like, flag the tape. One of these days. See, those things come in handy every once in a while.
When I run for president, you're just going to unload those.
I just want a sweet cabinet position where I can sit and do nothing and collect a big fat paycheck.
Oh, okay. Noted.
That's all I want. That's all I want. Because otherwise, the opposition ads.
They're going to have a lot of ammunition.
You got to be 18 to ride, but stick with me. I can teach you all kinds of things. I got it.
Oh, man.
Got it all covered. So,
Anyway.
Well, I'm on the socials on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm on Facebook, where we're the Pulpit Parishioners Group, and you can get in the fun there. We have Twitter/X, YouTube, where you can watch this, and you can check out my bare bones, but coming together
evolving.
nicely. The evolving studio.
Podcast studio.
And then I do need your calls and questions on the Ask the Pulpit line, so you can give that a call at area code 863-874-0000.
I'm telling you, we still need to do one that's like, I've never done one where people call in and they're curious about me.
Oh, I know.
They should.
The problem is getting your schedule hammered down.
But if we did, then you
problem.
could time it and say, what questions do people have?
No. Well, I mean.
The problem is, I'm so vulnerable on here. They know, I'm a productivity nerd who works a lot.
Yeah.
They're probably she sounds super boring and not interesting, so we really have nothing to ask her.
I mean, either that or they're going to ask you a bunch of questions that you're like, no comment.
Taking the fifth? I played the fifth on that.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, it's a fine line of how much detail you can give out versus
right.
Keeping things private. So
close to home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, and you're not doing the socials anymore these days.
I like people in real life and I don't like them online.
I get it. I mean, if I didn't have to, I probably wouldn't, but yeah. So
that's something that I need to find a piece of wood to knock on. We've been very good about not.
There's some over here.
Our son has not expressed he's not on any social media.
Right behind you. There's another piece of wood there. There you go. There you go.
He's not on any social media, and he's 14. All of us, a lot of his friends plan events and they get together and all that's done through Snap. We're at the point now, Nick. I don't know if you know this, but texting for teenagers is like email for you and me. I would never email you hey, do you want to get together? Like we used to do back in the day. Now it's all text messaging. Teenagers don't use text messaging. It's all done through Snapchat or some other app.
Weird.
Yes, it's not actual text messaging. So
I was just about to say, I feel like the concept of social media might be boring to kids these days.
It kind of is. Yeah, a lot of them aren't. They're on apps. They're not really on social media.
Weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I'm thankful for. I mean, they have accounts and stuff, but TikTok's social media. They're all over.
I am
TikTok.
and I'm not. I'm not.
Do you have TikTok?
I have one. I'm not a fan of it.
Do you get on it?
Rarely.
Oh, okay.
I think I've posted one video. I did it more just to see what it was about, and it's overwhelming because to be honest, you have to really dive in, and you got to follow a whole ton of accounts, and you got to do all this kind of stuff so you can train the algorithm to give you what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the algorithm is not trained to tell me what I want at all.
Yeah.
And so I don't find it enjoyable at all.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I do recognize that perhaps there might be some value because, look, it's one of those things where if you want to put yourself in front of a certain demographic or certain age group or something like that, I feel like it's a good place to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's where they're all at.
Yeah.
And depending upon what your niche is, you can quickly rocket in status and popularity. The cigars, theoretically there's some, I'm sure. But I don't feel like there's a whole lot of cigars on there to where like theoretically I could probably go on there and, start building a thing. On the flip side, I'm an old fat man with gray in my beard and whatever else. It's like, are these people going to listen to me? I don't know.
Well, and the audience that you're trying to reach is not the audience who watches TikTok, right?
No.
I mean, in general, 35-year-old
But
plus.
I'll be honest. You might be surprised how many people slightly younger than us and even our age and whatnot are on TikTok on the regular. I mean, just in my dating experience, I have found a number of women that, it's like, how do they wind down at the end of the night? They're laying in bed watching TikTok. So, I mean,
that's what I'm missing. Like, I'm
weird.
watching murder shows when I could be watching TikTok.
Yeah, I don't think you're missing anything. But like, I feel like to do it right, it's a skill set that I don't necessarily have either. Like,
and it's a lot of learning,
that video editing and everything that goes into it. I feel like there's a lot, and it's one of those things too where like you are just purging out content
all the time
on the hopes that just one of them take off.
Right.
And if one of them takes off, then you're doing all right. But, like, are you doing all right? Because at that point, like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, are you getting paid? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's very weird.
You hit the nail on the head with that video editing. My son and my husband, they've got YouTubers that they follow. And one of the guys, Phase Rug. So he used to do gaming, and now he's like a TikToker, YouTuber guy.
Yeah.
So he had this challenge where they took two unknown people, and the whole it's like an hour-long episode. My kid will not watch a TV. He doesn't have any TV shows he watches, but he can tell you.
But he'll watch an hour
of this.
See, I'm the opposite.
YouTube.
I'm the opposite. If a YouTube video is
like more than 10 minutes, I'm out.
Yeah. If
too
it's
much.
more than 10 minutes, I got to be really, really interested in it. And here's my other. I don't pay for YouTube, so I get ads in the middle of that shit, and I don't want that either.
So So the episode they were watching last night was this guy Phase Rug. He and his cameraman Noah. They went out and got two people off the street or whatever, and they're like, okay, it's a contest. Right. So each of them are trying to make this unknown person off the street, whoever has the most TikTok followers in the next 24 hours. And so to get there, they had to put out 10 TikToks today, and you like pulled this thing off the wall and it told you a trend you had to do, like a current trend. And so the video editing required in that is bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much to think about and to do. And oh man,
and that is not my skill set.
The same.
Like,
same.
That
requires a level of creativity that I do not possess
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, realistically, this show, it's. I know how to turn on the board. I know how to do the basic level amount of stuff on here, but like, this is amateur hour. It may not sound like amateur hour, in which case I feel very fortunate if it doesn't sound like amateur hour. Some audio engineers out there are probably sitting back going, oh yeah, it fucking sounds like amateur hour. But, but realistically, like, it's amateur hour. And I freely admit that. I'm not a pro at this. I'm a writer, for God's sakes. I'm a fucking dinosaur in terms of content creation. And, so this whole like switch to video thing, it's definitely spooky for me, because I'm sitting back on like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And there's the AI tools where they'll like take my video and they'll make reels. It'll like know the like important parts. It'll like somehow with AI, it'll figure out the important parts and it'll make those little reels and all that. But does it know the important parts and like all that, and I don't know. I haven't.
Based on what my friend shared with me about how accurately it described him, I'd have to believe that it's going to know based on keywords and, reactions and pause times and stuff. Sure. I believe that.
I don't know. So I'll have to, that's something I am looking at.
That's offered through YouTube or through a different AI service?
Different AI stuff. And of course, it's all shit you got to pay for.
For sure.
Because...
I mean, somebody built it and developed it.
Exactly. But it's like, it costs so much to put out, to have a hobby these days.
Right.
It costs so much to have a hobby these days. I mean, shit, I'm coming up on my annual renewal for my podcast hosting. That's going to be like a couple $100, I think. So, I mean,
having fun is expensive.
It is. It really is.
Just be like me and don't have fun. Sit at home and watch murder show.
I need that paper bag full of money. I keep saying that I need to find a paper bag full of money on the side of the road. And if I could find that, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Like all it would take, if I could just somehow stumble across a paper bag with about 50 grand in it, I'd be doing all right for myself.
Yeah.
That's all it needs.
I've thought about when our son graduates high school in 4 years, like going back to work, doing a different job than I do now, and just grinding for like 4 years.
just a bank cash.
Socking everything, like just live on our husband's. Just live on my husband's salary.
I don't have a husband, so
and just suck everything away.
I mean, you could. Are you gonna?
I don't want to.
I wouldn't want to. I mean, I want to quit now.
But I will say, like we're very financially conservative, and I mean, when we started dating, so I'm the same age as my husband, but I was always a year ahead in school. Mm-hmm. So I graduated college before he did, and we had been together 4 years at that point. So I opened an IRA for him, and I contributed to it when he was like 20. And my financial advisor was like, I don't know if you should, it was such an unusual move. He's like, I don't know if you should be doing that for someone that you're not married to. And I'm like, first of all, we're going to get married.
Yeah.
And we did 3 years later.
Yeah.
But it was like, that's important to me that, he's finishing up undergrad. He had 6 more years of graduate school, and he wouldn't be in a paying job until he was in his mid-20s. And I was like, he needs so I put money into an account to become his retirement account.
And since you're married, it still benefited you.
Yeah, I mean, here we are 27 years later, and yeah.
So
I mean, we're fine. I was like, ooh, what if I just really just hunkered down, worked my ass off because I was in a different job before that. I have a really fun, enjoyable job right now. I work very hard, but I really, really, really love my job right now.
Yeah.
It's not what I went to college for. It's not what I trained for. If I would go back into the industry that I was in previously, I could hunker down, make really good money for 4 or 5 years, and then just, I don't know, have a really nice pot of money, I think. I don't know. I say I'm not money driven.
No, but unfortunately, money is the path to relaxation in that regard. I mean,
independence. For me, money has always been independence.
That's better.
It allows us to do what we want to do and not have to worry about that. Yeah. We've been lucky. There's a combination of luck and opportunity, but we also have worked very hard over the years. So
I don't know. Yeah, it's a thing. I wish I had fuck you money. I want fuck you money.
What's that?
When you got enough money that you can tell somebody to fuck you. Like if somebody comes to you, if you have enough money saved up, and let's say your boss were to come to you and be like, I want you to do this, you'd be like, fuck you.
Okay. So if you got fired, you'd still be fine.
Exactly. It's all F you money. It's basically you have the financial freedom to basically make your choice.
I see.
And to say, F you instead of doing, what you're told you need to do.
My husband He makes all the money. Let's be honest.
Well, that's the thing is right now in your situation, like,
yeah.
you have FU ability.
Yeah. Boy, if I ever
Javier, not so much.
If I ever said F you to my boss, just put me in the ground because she's awesome and I love her. And I would have to be a weird something
would have
for.
to be very weird.
She's like one of my best friends.
It would have to be very weird. Yeah.
I love my life.
Yeah.
Sorry for people that don't. Sorry if somebody's in a season of life where they are in a hard time. Peace, but also I love my life.
Which, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell we got on that, but anyway, so final thought. You're slow smoking versus me.
I've been talking a lot.
I know, but I guess, but I'm over here just
on the pinky scale. I don't know if I'd smoke it again tomorrow. It is a very good, well-built, solid stick. The flavor profile is one that I tolerate. I wouldn't say I enjoy. It's much more bold
and spicy for you
than I would pick on a normal day. But
okay.
you have been really you've been very good about getting me those new ones.
Oh yeah,
those are so good.
The Halloween
it's a sweet
Deadwood.
The Dia de los Muertos.
Okay.
Those are really good from the Drew. Is that part of the Yummy Bitches line? So there's the three of them: the Sweet Alice, the Crazy Alice, Sweet Jane, and the Leather
Fat
Rose.
Bottom Betty.
Oh, and Fat Bottom. So this would be the fifth one.
So yeah. So then there's this guy that
it's really
this
good.
one that came out for Halloween.
It's like limited time?
Yeah. That's what I'm telling you.
Sorry.
That's why I was saying, like, do you need a box? Because, like, this is a limited deal.
No.
Well, if you need one, the place I know, they've got boxes available at the place I know of.
I don't have, like, $250.
I don't think it's quite that much because I think they're only boxes of 10. I think. Maybe they're boxes of 20. I don't know. I'll have to look. I'll do some Googling after we finish recording here.
Those are very good. That's what I've been enjoying in the garage.
Okay. Are they any different than the others? Because I'll be honest. I find generally all of the Deadwood ones
very similar.
Very, very similar.
Well,
that they're really just different shapes.
That's true. That is true. That's true.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head that difference between this Dia de los Muertos and the Fat Bottom Betty.
Yeah, like if I were to blindfold you and put them both side by side and you didn't know what they were.
So the Leather Rose is a torpedo, so I would know that one.
Yeah.
I think the Crazy Alice is a thinner torpedo. Like, that's even different.
That's that cone-shaped one,
yeah,
isn't it?
There's the cone-shaped and then the torpedo and then the... Sweet Jane. She's just a regular... She's a smaller...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I just feel like...
The flavor profile is all the same.
It's all very
They're all
similar.
sweet-tipped, yeah.
Sweet trip, very, very floral, aromatic, you know.
Good. So good.
So it's kind of one of those, like, I find them all very similar to where, like, I guess that's my question is, like, is there anything about this one that's like...
This one's box press, so I would know that. It's like one of the few box press that I...
Okay.
Is this one considered?
This is a soft box press, yes.
So is the Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, it doesn't have that, like, really harsh...
Correct, yes.
Kind of
It fits in my cutter, and a lot of box press won't fit in my cutter, so...
Okay. Well, all right, then.
All right, well, we've gone on long enough.
There we go. So, well, anyway, Pinky, thank you so much for taking time out
Always
today.
A pleasure.
I appreciate it. And otherwise, guys, have a happy and safe Halloween because,
enjoy it for us.
Weird shit can happen on Halloween, so
be safe.
You got that going on. So, anyway, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick.
It's your girl, Pinky.
Everybody stay safe and stay smoky. Oh, yeah, speaking of ghostly shit, I haven't had any issues at the new house, so I think I left all my ghost shit at the duplex.
That's worth celebrating.
I know. I'm happy. I don't no bed shaking that I'm aware of, and then, or, whatever. I mean, it's all.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, me too. So, anyway, take care, guys.